Hello and welcome to another episode of Hope and Homeschool. I am Lindsay Anderson. If this is your first time watching us, feel free to hit the subscribe button. We do videos on this channel to help people that are in that transition to homeschooling, considering homeschooling, or maybe if you're just like kind of stuck in a rut with your homeschooling. I hope that this channel encourages you. I hope you enjoy just following along with us on our journey. We have been homeschooling this is our third year homeschooling. We have homeschooled basically since our oldest was in kindergarten. She did go to a private preschool, but other than that, we have strictly homeschooled. And I have been wanting to do this video for a really long time, talking about why we actually chose to homeschool. I've been super nervous to actually make this video because, and it's probably gonna get a lot more editing than my other videos. I really want you to hear my heart in this, and for parents who don't homeschool their kids, I don't want you to hear condemnation from me. And some people are gonna choose to hear condemnation regardless, and I can't really control that. So I'm just gonna be open and honest and maybe hopefully give you some things to think about that maybe you haven't, or maybe you agree with me, or maybe you'll think we're crazy. I don't know, but this is my truth. I'm gonna talk about it. I actually never wanted to homeschool my kids. I went to public school when I was a kid. I grew up in a really small town. I had like 18 kids in my class. I was actually one of those people that kind of thought homeschoolers were like weird. Yep. Throwing myself under the bus, I was totally that person. I thought, why in the world would you want to homeschool your kids? I'm not even, how am I qualified to homeschool my kids, right? I had all of the objections that most people have to homeschooling. And then a few years back, I actually started to do a lot of my own personal development. I really started to dive into self-help books and things like that. And I started to understand the power of what you put into your mind and who and what you surround yourself with. I actually started going to some personal development conferences. I'm a big fan of Danny Johnson. I've been one of her clients for about 4 years. And she talked about how she chose to homeschool her kids for part of the time. They also attended regular school part of the time. And she talked a lot about the importance of how things that happen in our childhood really shape us for the rest of our life. And I just really felt in my spirit like God was talking to me about my kids and being more mindful of the influences and what they're being taught and just being more aware of it. So I really started to be more aware of which cartoons they were watching, how much time they were actually watching TV. My kids do watch TV. I'm not a no screen time mom, but we do filter what is being watched on TV. We were getting ready to send our daughter to kindergarten. She was going to preschool at the time, and I could already see how the other kids, the children around her, the teachers, were really shaping her thought process. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that's a bad thing, but I just became more mindful of it. And it really got me thinking, what do I want my child to learn? And what influences do I actually want around them as they grow up? Now, I understand that you can't completely shelter your children, and no matter how much you try to control their environment, your kids are gonna be who they're gonna be. However, I wanted to do my best to set my kids up for success. And I really, really felt the calling, and I do think that homeschool is a calling. I really felt the calling to homeschool. And originally I said, no, thank you. Don't want to do that. I did not want to. And I just kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger, this pulling to homeschool. And so I talked to my husband about it, and he's like, no, we're not gonna homeschool. And I was like, I know, but I really feel like God's telling me to homeschool. And so I said, okay, what if over the summer we just try this out? What if the summer before kindergarten, I attempt to homeschool kindergarten and we'll just see how it goes. Knowing full well the entire time that I was gonna continue to homeschool. But it was a great way to like transition into it, and it kind of took the pressure off of me and it took the pressure off my husband, and he said go for it. So I bought some curriculum and we started homeschooling kindergarten. By the end of the summer, we were in love with homeschooling. My child, I was so impressed with how much she had learned. I actually loved teaching her. I loved watching her learn. I loved being able to spend that time with her. I loved how her baby sister was also like being a part of it. And my husband was really starting to see the fruit of what was happening. And so he got on board and we started homeschooling full time. Now, something that's important to note is your reasons for homeschooling can change as time goes on. Some things that I really love about homeschooling are I can control what my child learns. I like that my child is getting a Christian education. I like that we can talk about the Bible. How do I want to say this? I like how we can kind of control the style of learning. I like how we can control what is being taught. I like how we can teach our child behavioral things as well as academic things. Now, I realize some of you might be watching this like, why are you trying to control everything? You're just a control freak. Now, I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, children need structure. They need the guidance when they're young because they don't know how to pick their own influences. So one of our goals is for the first, 12, 13 years of their life is to really ingrain in them their identity as a person, really ingrain in them how to choose their influences so that when the time comes when they're 13 and I can't really control anything anymore, because let's be real, it happens before they're 18, or so I've been told. I don't have a 13-year-old yet, but that they have a good start. Now, I understand that I am never going to be able to control what my children do. They're going to make decisions I don't agree with. They're going to make good decisions. They're going to make bad decisions. But again, it's about setting them up so that they have a good start. Now, I'm not saying that your kids can't have that in a regular school. I am saying that that is what was told to us as to how we are to raise our children. I do have to say, however you choose to educate your child, if it is public school, if it is private school, if it is homeschooling, you need to be a big part of your child's education. And I'm not just talking about knowing what they're learning in math and knowing what they're learning in science. Being aware of who they are around and who is influencing, number one, how they feel about themselves, teaching them their identity, teaching them about how to view the world. Because a lot of those things are shaped when we are kids. Learning our self-identity. How many of you, I can remember being in school and probably taking on some not so great things about my identity, and those were things that took me a long time to overcome as an adult. So to be completely honest, the main reason why we chose to homeschool is because I want to make sure that I have done everything in my power to set my kids up to have a strong identity in who they are, to love learning, how to honor people, how to treat people with respect, and just really setting them up for success as they become adults. Again, not saying that you can't do that in public or private school. What I am saying is that is why I had such a strong pull to homeschool my kids. Now, when I first thought about making this video, I thought about all of the politically correct, not going to come across as condemnation reasons why we homeschool, and there's lots of those, but at the end of the day, you just want somebody to be real with you, and you just want somebody to be honest, and that's honestly why we do it. There are some not so great people raising some not so great kids out there, and I don't want them to necessarily influence my children about who they are and how they should view the world. Now, I realize some people aren't gonna like what I just said. Oh well. But I hope that you can respect the fact that I was just honest with you and didn't give you a whole bunch of PC BS. So there you go. That is why those are some of the reasons why we chose to homeschool. We also like homeschooling because we really do like to travel, and homeschooling is just easier with traveling. This doesn't have to be why you choose to homeschool. You can completely disagree with everything that I just said, and that's okay. But I hope it gave you something to at least think about. Even if you don't choose to homeschool your kids, just maybe thinking about what surrounds you affects how you feel about yourself, how you view the world. All right, we'll see you in the next episode. Hit subscribe if you like this video. Give us the like button, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.